It's Wednesday, the 19th of November 2025. You're very welcome back. It's a good morning, very still. There's sun out there. So, good morning here in rural Ireland. I'd say it's about 11 degrees centigrade. I think it's about that. I didn't measure it. Anyway, folks, Pascal Donohoe, the former Fine Gael Dublin Central, I think it is, constituency, Fine Gael man, he's resigned as Minister for Finance, and he's got a big job with the World Bank. Of course, I won't be so nasty as not to wish him and his family good health in the job. I'm very reluctant not to wish good health. It's you have to be a terrible enemy of mine for me to wish you bad health. After that, he's good bloody riddance. Good riddance. Now, just to deal with his role in the World Bank, he has 10 separate strings, 10 second things he has to do. He will promote its objectives to the 99s. First, climate change. He's the minister. He's going to be instrumental in changing not only the weather in Ireland, but the weather all over the world. Because of disappointment, the weather is going to change. In 30, 40 years' time, completely different weather. So whereas I look out the window now, we see a nice morning with a bit of sun, chilly, it's November, it's winter. Pascal Donohoe had a little impact on that, but not much. But now, when I look out the window, I'll not be looking out, or my grandchildren in 40 years' time, they'll see ice and cold, because he's going to bring the temperature down. Going to be snow, frost and ice, and no fuel. That's the first thing. His second role is climate change. Climate change. He's going to change the climate. Only for him, the whole Arctic ice caps would be gone, and the Antarctic. He's going to keep them there. There'll be penguins making their way from the South Pole up to the North Pole. His third objective is climate change. He's going to have climate change. He's going to put in solar panels all over Ireland. He's already been doing it. We're making nothing in the last few days, and the windmills total are nothing. This morning, the contribution of wind and solar is minuscule. It has no effect. His fourth point is climate change. He's going to be minister. He's going to act for climate change. He's going to spread his climate change message all over the world. He's going to make sure any funding that's given to any African or Asian or any country or any island community will be given for wind turbines and solar panels, and banning fossil fuel. And he'll want the people of those countries to continue living in cooking with fuel from dried animal dung. That's what they have, animal dung, Pascal Donohoe. His fifth objective is climate change. So that's the fifth thing in climate change. So he's going to have to bring in laws to stop people making pointing out the inconsistencies there are with climate change. His sixth objective is climate change. He's going to talk to Donald Trump. Wait till you see Donald Trump. Up to now, Donald Trump has said windmills are a scam, solar panels are a scam, the climate change thing is a scam, which I agree with. One of the reasons why I support him so much. So Pascal Donohoe is going to meet him in the Oval Office of the White House as the head man at the World Bank, and he's going to get Donald Trump to change his mind. Donald Trump is going to reverse everything and going to change the tariffs from trade tariffs to climate tariffs. So everything will be tariffed because of climate. Everything that's made with fuel will be climate. He will then move to Ireland, and there are industries in Ireland. I mean, he'll move to Ireland. He'll address the Irish situation. That's number 7. And he'll shut them down. He'll take the cows off the farmers. He'll leave me with no cows at all. I'll have no cows. I won't be. And the big thing is, because I brag that I'm a farmer with cows, he particularly come after the cows. So he's going to leave us with no milk, no butter, no cheese. Nothing. Goats is all you'll be allowed. Well, goats, you see, they eat briar bushes and all that. So he will provide a grant for goats. Goats. Goat's milk. I have 3 left. I have to count them. I remember old people long ago in Ireland, they were very backward. And the way you milk a nanny goat is you milk her from behind, because you can't get in the front. She has 2 teats. and you milk her from behind. A cow has 4, 2 big ones and 2 small ones, but the what do you call it? The goat has 2. And by the way, do you know that an elephant, a female elephant, has her mammary glands, her teats, between her 2 front legs? I only learned that the other day, and all the David Attenborough was telling us. He never told us that. Anyway, I'm a number 7, right? Isn't that it? Now we move on. So number 8, he's going to get on to Keir Starmer. Sir Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer is giving grants to Open Steelworks. And now there's talk in Britain that they're going to start making coke-based steel, which is the proper steel from virgin, or what's to call it, new ore, like not just recycled, for certain very high-stress parts. That's the best steel. He's thinking of going back to that, and Pascal is going to get onto him and give him a bit of his mind and change his mind on that. The EU is also promising to use only EU steel in the manufacture of the weapons that they're going to put our grandchildren in to fight the Russians. So he'll be getting onto them to reverse that. So that's 9 things, folks. Nine things. So the weather is unbelievable. So the other thing that he has with climate change, he's going to come over to Dublin when the by-election takes place in his constituency, and he's going to warn them, unless they vote for Fine Gael, a replacement, the world will rise by 2% more than if they don't. If they do vote for Fine Gael, the world will stay the way it is. But if they vote for Fine Gael, for somebody else, climate will go mad. We'll be roasting. We'll be sitting out in Phibsborough with sun hats in the middle of July, in the middle of December. He'll promise all that. Okay. Enough said. It must be remembered that for those not familiar with Irish politics, Fine Gael are a very junior party in government. Fianna Fáil are, between the two of them, they don't have a majority. They're held there by independents. Excepting rare exceptions, I'd agree with the independents staying in there and keeping the government propped up until we get into March or April. I believe they should pull the plug then, because the destruction that's going to be wrought by them. But that's the way it is. It's amazing that when you vote independent, you get the same government that you vote against. That's it. Now, Hildegrade, let's see now, what's this that the replacements are? Hildegrade Naughton is going to be Minister for Education, filling in Helen McEntee, who's going to Foreign Affairs, Trade and Defence. So now, remember this. I've long waxed lyrical and shouted about the fact that the Ireland and the EU is going to get rid of our triple lock system. They want Ireland in the war because we're good soldiers. And so she's Minister for Defence. So now you have Helen McEntee, who is one of the main architects of the hate speech law, and still very, very hurt because it didn't go ahead yet. You have Helen McEntee, now Minister for Defence. So she'll be the one who will be deciding where your grandson goes. And you know where they'll send him. Okay, so she's Defence. Trade. So, what can you say? Foreign Affairs. Well, she'll be in good company with all the rest of the wokes. Come here, if Trump is coming over to the golf tournament in the summer, will she meet him? Oh, she hates Trump. Oh my God. You see, I know Trump's not perfect, and I know that, but look at the fun we have with him. Anyway, so Simon Harris, the Taoiseach, that's the Deputy Prime Minister, will be Minister for Finance. And of course, the big trouble then is who'll get the seat when it's fought. It will be between a fellow called Ray McAdam, who's the Fine Gael potential candidate there in that Dublin constituency, and probably the Sinn Féiner will get in, probably beat him, probably will. It's a very working class area. It's Phibsborough, very working class area. So Ray McAdam will be looking for the Fine Gael seat. Fianna Fáil, I don't think, has a hope in Dublin. They seem to be wiped out in Dublin. You imagine Bertie Ahern have a bit of a say there. Now, he'll not be running, but you think he could endorse somebody. So Harris is on his way over to the EU to introduce himself, and He's the only one with a half-Midland economy at the moment. Half-Midland economy. France is it's in a debt spiral of debt. England, it's not in the EU, but still. So the fact that Britain is broke means it can't push money into Europe. Germany, whole industry gone with their windmills and solar panels. I filled in public consultations. I'm one of the few people in Ireland or in the world who made submissions to EU energy policy and pointed out precisely what's taking place today. It's there, it should be on record. I told them you cannot do what you're doing with energy. I never thought I'd see the day when Europe would be disconnected from Russian coal, oil and gas and fertilizer. I never thought I'd see that. And steel also. So, it's funny how things go. But that's what's come to pass. Now, Hildegrade Naughton, she's going to be Minister for Education. She's guaranteed there will be no spaces, no child with special needs will be stuck for a space in school. She didn't say no ordinary child with ordinary needs, in other words, a standard child without special needs, will get any place. And I can tell you, because of her mass migration into Ireland, she has taken the whole places away at a time when school teachers don't want the job anymore. So how is Hildegrade Naughton going to entice people to become teachers? And all the men are driven out from the teaching profession. No man wants to be a teacher. I think there's only about 25% of the teaching population in the UK and in Ireland, men. They don't want men. Oh no, we want Miss So. Oh, she's nice. Oh, she's nice. Oh, better again if she's gay. So Hildegrade Naughton, she's making promises already. No, she knows about special needs. How is she going to guarantee it? Where is she going to get the staff? When you continually bring in migrants, and they are, and it has to be said, folks, if you're watching me anyway close, they are sending some migrants home. But as the migrants are being sent home, twice as many are coming across the border from the UK. And when the IRA were fighting the battle and all that, there was rows and rows of Gardaí on the border. There was 20 guards in Scottstown and Monaghan alone, and 20 in Emmy Vale, and 20 in Omead on the Louth border. That's all just back to normal policing. So why don't they increase the policing there and catch these people coming across? The fact is, Fine Gael loves migration from cultures different to our own. So Mary Lou MacDonald has wished him good health as well. And then she says he was a disaster, and she's going to be better. Now, it has to be said that one of the things they'll probably agree with, and Helen McEntee is going to do, she's going to push on the Occupied Territories Bill, which means that products made in Palestine, which they say is occupied by Israel, I'm not going there for the moment, will be pushed on. There'll be tariffs, so she's going to use tariffs the same as Trump. But seeing that Trump is a supporter of Israel, and she's backing the Palestinians, there'll be some fun. I'd say you could see the day that Donald Trump will give her a full dressing down. She could, well, the Taoiseach is Micheál Martin. So I don't know, there's a revolving prime ministership in Ireland. So you could have Simon Harris going over to him, but I'd say Donald Trump will not be too keen on that. And he has the big tariff button for Irish pharmaceuticals, which would damage Irish economy if it was pushed an awful lot. But Mary Lou MacDonald more or less says he's good riddance, but she's a mad, rip-roaring socialist. She goes round dressed in a hijab, a garment the women in Muslim countries wear to show that they're subservient to their husbands, that the husband and the man is in charge of the family, the woman's only a sort of a chattel, and she supports that. These are the ones that were shouting at the graves of fallen IRA men, oh, Chucky her law. Well, our day has come and we know what it is. So we're in a bad place, God help us. Somebody texted me the other day there, Val, Pascal Donohoe, who's in charge of the World Bank. God help us. Yeah, that's it. So that's the situation with Pascal Donohoe and the mayhem government we have. Fully left as anything you can get. We saw what the BBC was doing with Trump, and we know that Radio Television was doing the same, but they're a wee bit cuter. Their chief head beatler is from over there, isn't he? From the BBC. Barkhurst, he's from Britain anyway. That's the thing. So that's enough, folks. The World Bank, this all has to be looked at in the backdrop of Trump pulling out of the United Nations and the World Health Organization. Some way pulling out. Now, he's pulled himself away from it. I think he's dumped the World Health Organization to the wolves, but I think there's still a connection with America and the United Nations, so there's no need to come down me there. I didn't do much research on that, but he's anti them anyway. He's on my side. So Pascal's gone over into that environment. And then there's the BRICS movement, which is trying to get rid of the dollar altogether. And the World Bank would be very much a dollar denominated entity. And they have been giving out loans to people with very strict conditions. And it hasn't brought up Africa anything. There's nothing that happens in Africa from the World Bank or any of those institutions or the IMF that has improved the plight of the people in Africa. They all have to flee to Ireland. But there is a movement in Africa by Ibrahim Traoré in the Sahel states, that's sub-Saharan Africa. There is a move there to kick out the French and the whole Westerners. So Pascal Donohoe would love to be giving out global climate money all around Africa. The EU gave a big ball of money to South Africa there to build windmills recently. That has failed already. Eddie O'Connor, the Irishman, failed to do that over there. And so the Chinese and the Russians are eating their lunch, as it were, and stealing their clothes, and we'll see how that goes. But Pascal is not the brightest knife in the pack. He has a certain depth. He has a wee bit of education. He'll become a non-entity. He gets a big pension, and that's the way it is. He's a mad left-wing socialist with a wee bit of conservative economic thing there, but he couldn't have that much of it, because if he did, he'd have stopped the rackets that's going on with energy and climate and all that. So there you are. That's what we have given to the world with the World Bank, and hopefully the day will come when the World Bank will be only a niche in the World Distribution Center. Huge trade going on between using the Chinese yuan, huge trade going on, a big battle over the hegemony of the dollar. So Pascal Donohoe's job will be to keep the dollar there. He'll be pro-dollar. He has to be, because the EU has capitulated to Trump when they went to Scotland. They more or less handed him all he wants. They're scared out of their wits of Putin. And it's in that backdrop all of this takes place. My job is to stop any Irish person ever becoming a soldier or having anything to do with the defence industry from now on, because it's not for Ireland. We'll see you back soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.